rice-producing provinces in Indonesia, with the production of mild dried grain or MDG of 9.53 million tons in 2022. But aside from that, the number of poor people in East Java province itself in 2022 has already reached until 10.38% of the total population. So East Java province itself is also one of the provinces with the largest poverty rate in Indonesia. So from this backgrounds, I made this study to focus more on the estimation of rice productivity, and also I want to see how the correlation between the productivity itself to the increasing on poverty, which I want to see how it affects them. Okay, so this is the research methodology. Before we got to the image processing, I use Landsat image. First, I did the field survey, which I already done the ground control points measurement, and aerial mapping, which I used a multispectral camera. So the multispectral camera has the near infrared and red bands. So after the measurement, we did the Landsat image processing in cloud platform. So from that, we got the NDVI image from Landsat 8 image. But aside from that, I also did the estimation of rice productivity from statistical data in East Java province from the year of 2013 until 2021, which the statistical data I processed in with ARIMA forecast modeling. So in this research, I used from Landsat 8 image and from ARIMA, which later I will compare the results from both methods with the formula of loss capacity. Okay, we got to the result. This is the results within the orthophoto map from aerial mapping measurement. So the sample points taken until 9 points in rice fields in the generative phase with a harvest age around 12 until 13 weeks after planting. From the aerial image taken with multispectral camera in paddy fields, which located in Kesamben Subdistrict, Blitar, East Java, the lowest NDVI from the image taken by multispectral camera is 0.381, while the highest is 0.686. And based from the image multispectral, the NDVI range that can be used for the threshold to later to be used on the Landsat processing is from 0.381 until 0.686, which means that in that range is the NDVI that is in the generative phase, which is ready to harvest. Okay, this is the correlation of the NDVI from Landsat processing. So the correlation coefficient is 0.201, which means that this correlation has a negative correlation, and the correlation is low. So from the previous regression, it can be stated that the high and low NDVI in each districts or series in East Java can hardly represent rice productivity. So from the previous regression model, I did split the cities or districts to make sure which cities had a negative correlation and positive correlation. So this is the overall results from Landsat 8 processing. So the largest estimation is in the Malang city, which is the value is 0.581 kilogram per square meters, while the lowest is in the Bojonegoro district with a value productivity of 0.551 kilogram per square meters. And I also did the calculation from the production data and land area calculation. So the estimated value shows the result through the calculation of the total production divided by the land area, taken based on vector data of paddy fields in each district and city of East Java. So the value, the statistical data itself is from Central Bureau of Statistics or Badan Pusat Statistik of East Java, and the average productivity in East Java is 0.64 kilogram per square meters. Previously, I also talked about the ARIMA forecast model. So this is the result, which based on the results, the model that suits the district and cities the most is the AR model or 100 model with the overall p-value is 0.00. This is the distribution of rice productivity estimation. So this is the correlation of estimated rice productivity with poverty percentage. So the estimated rice productivity is from the Landsat processing, and the poverty value is from poverty percentage in East Java itself. So the correlation method that I used is Pearson correlation, which resulting in a correlation coefficient of negative 0.597. Based on the correlation coefficient values, it shows that the two variables show a fairly strong or moderate negative relationship, where its meaning is that the higher the price productivity, the lower the percentage of poverty. So this is the loss capacity formula that I used to compare the ARIMA forecast results and from Landsat processing image, which the average value with ARIMA processing is 0.567 kilogram per square meters. Meanwhile, the value from the Landsat H image processing is 0.566 kilogram per square meters. So from these two results, I use these values to calculate with the loss capacity formula. So the calculation, the result is 4.78%. So it means that there's a difference between the ARIMA forecast model and from the Landsat 8 processing, which the difference is 4.78%. The different results can occur because the initial data that used for the ARIMA forecast model and the Landsat H image processing is different. So the conclusions is first that estimated value of average rice productivity in East Java is 0.567 kilogram per square meters, with the highest is in Malang city and the lowest is in Bojonegoro region district. And the correlation result of the poverty percentage with the estimation of rice productivity through Landsat H imagery in 2022 shows a correlation coefficient of negative 0.597, means that the higher the level of rice productivity, which means that the lower the poverty percentage. And based on the validation test through the calculation of loss capacity formula, it shows that the both processing ARIMA and Landsat 8 processing have a difference or loss capacity of 4.87%, which indicates that the two methods still have a slight difference. And the suggestions that I take from this research to do on future research is first that to conduct field validation for areas that have a large deviation from NDVI processing to find out the cause of the large deviation itself, and also conduct to conduct further analysis of rice harvest failure and paddy field area parameters to support more validation. This is the references that I used for this paper. Thank you for the time and for the attention. This is my presentation. Thank you.
Sorry. Thank you, Miss Karina. So it's very interesting presentation, and the topic of your research is interesting because you also estimate the poverty and correlated with the production, right?
Yes.
Okay. So any question for the audience? Okay, so please, Miss Sasvina.
Okay, thank you for Ms. Karina. I have one question. The question is from the overall result in the early slide, what do you think cause the correlation coefficient to be negative? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Sasvina, for the question. It is from me, I think the difference is because each cities or districts would have different characteristics too. So each characteristics from each cities or districts, I think will affect the progression. I think that is so. Miss Asvina, thank you for the question.
Anyone else? Any question from the audience? No? I think it's very interesting topic of the research. So why there's no question from the audience? So I have one question, Miss Karina.
Yes.
So this is I saw your your research got the negative relationship, right?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
it's very weird because if the rice production is high, why the poverty is okay. So it means that if the rice production is high, so the poverty is low, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it means the need of rice of the citizen is what is they what's this? They fulfill the rights needed of the citizen, right?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
So how do you get the data of the poverty?
I actually use only from poverty percentage, ma'am, because I think if I use the overall poverty population will not be very accurate because the scale will be different from each cities or districts.
Okay, so it means that you also mentioned in your answer in for the first question before that the model is a specific location, right? So every district has different characteristic. It means that if every district you have to make a model.
No, I did the model for overall cities and districts in East Java, ma'am.
Okay, my suggestion is maybe you would not only involve one one parameter, but you have to involve another parameter because poverty is not is not influenced by productivity, but maybe another parameter also influence of this on this poverty, right?
Right.
Okay, so that's my there's another question from the audience. No? Maybe your friend have question? One another question from me. So two correlated between NDVI with the productivity, it's very difficult. Why you don't use a radar? Because radar is radar is easier than optic data. Because color is cannot represent the productivity of rice.
Thank you, ma'am, for the question. I think because I want to validate the results from the NDVI algorithm too.
Okay, but that's good research. You can study it and you can explore and develop another research start from this topic. Okay, if there is no any question from the audience, so I have to move to next presenter. So thank you, Miss Karina. Okay, and the next presenter is the next presenter is Pak Kurdianto. The title is Impact of Oil Injection on Concentration of Chlorophyll, Carotenoid, Anthocyanin in banyan leaves and ketapang leaf, dewa leaf using hyperspectral sensor. So please, Pak Kurdianto, you can start. So your presentation is 10 minutes and another 10 minutes is for question. Right? Okay, please.
My presentation with a video, Miss.
Okay, so video by you will play by yourself or from the committee? Okay, so committee, please, you can help Pak Kurdianto to play the video.
Hello everyone, my name is Kurdianto. The title of my presentation is Impact of Oil Injection and Concentration of Chlorophyll, Carotenoids, Anthocyanins in banyan leaves and ketapang dewa leaves using hyperspectral sensor. Introduction. Oil leaks can occur in pipes that have been used for a long time, leading to small leaks in the pipes. The oil seeps into the soil where the plant roots are. Continuous oil seepage can affect the growth of plant around it. The research in this paper focused on the phenomenon of oil seepage in shade trees that have many leaves and can provide shade. Specifically, the banyan tree or Ficus benjamina and ketapang dewa tree or Terminalia catapha. The purpose of these studies was to assess the impact of crude oil in small amount on crops so that it can be used for oil and gas seepage detection in a basin. Materials and method. Material, we have ASD hyperspectral sensor. Methods, there are two types of plant, banyan and ketapang dewa. Each plant has 3 pods. From each pod is given an injection of oil with a size of 5 ml until 15 ml. Activities given this oil injection is done every day. For measurement using hyperspectral sensor performed once a week by picking leaves from each plant, banyan and ketapang dewa. The measurement steps are presented in table 1. Stage 1, activity oil injection for banyan and ketapang dewa, time daily. Stage 2, activity measurement with hyperspectral sensor for banyan leaves and ketapang dewa leaves, time weekly. Set up experiment for banyan, preparing 3 banyan tree pods. A, banyan oil injection 5 ml, B, banyan oil injection 10 ml, C, banyan oil injection 15 ml. After preparing each banyan tree, the next process is to perform oil injection of different size given to each plant every day. And every week, the leaves are selected to be measured using hypospectral sensor. Then set up experiment for Ketapang Dewa. Preparing 3 Ketapang Dewa 3 pots. A. Ketapang Dewa oil injection 5 ml. B. Ketapang Dewa oil injection 10 ml. C. Ketapang Dewa oil injection 15 ml. After preparing each Ketapang Dewa 3, the next process is to perform oil injection of different size given to each plant every day. And every week, the leaves are selected to be measured using hypospectral sensor. Research and discussion. This data hypospectral sensor for oil injection 5 ml. The chlorophyll data for oil injection 5 ml. This data anthocyanin and carotenoid data for oil injection 5 ml. And then the hypospectral sensor data for oil injection 10 ml. This chlorophyll data for oil injection 10 ml. This anthocyanin and carotenoid data for oil injection 10 ml. And then hypospectral sensor data for oil injection 15 ml. Chlorophyll data for oil injection 15 ml. And anthocyanin and carotenoids data for oil injection 15 ml. For all hypospectral sensor data, varies visible change in reflectance at 10 ml oil injection at Ketapang Dewa. Figure 11, the data obtained is that in week 8, Ketapang Dewa experienced an increase in the reflectance value of 0.44 with a wavelength of 551 nanometer. Well, in week 3, Banyan, the reflectance value was 0.09 with a wavelength of 554 nanometer. From all chlorophyll data, very visible change at 10 ml oil injection at Ketapang Dewa. Ketapang Dewa chlorophyll decreased again in week 8 with a chlorophyll value of 1.84. And then from all anthocyanin and carotenoid data, very visible change at 10 ml oil injection at Ketapang Dewa. The value of anthocyanin and carotenoid from its plant for 8 days decreased. For the banyan plant, the anthocyanin value then decreased in the week 8 with a value of 0.0001. For the value of anthocyanin in Ketapang Dewa in week 8 decreased in the value of anthocyanin to the lowest 0.001. For the value of banyan carotenoid in week 3 with a value of 0.67, then increase until week 8 with a carotenoid value 0.88. Well, the Ketapang Dewa carotenoid value in decreased until week 7 with a value of 0.41 and increase again in week 8 with a value of 0.49. Figure 17, the change in the color of chlorophyll in the leaves is visible, banyan and Ketapang Dewa. A. Color change in banyan leaves. B. Color change in Ketapang Dewa leaves. Conclusion. From the result of this study, hyperspectral sensor can identify the anomalies that occur in banyan plant and ketapang dewa, affected by oil injection in week 5 to week 8. So that the week can be now changed in the value of chlorophyll, anthocyanin, and carotenoid in leaves that have been given oil injection. In week 5 to week 8, data tracks hyperspectral sensor reflector has increased and a wavelength of 551 nanometer. Rise and fall of the value of reflectant and chlorophyll concentration value in plant given oil injections, the condition of the plant is experiencing stress pigment. The next plan of this research is to utilize Sentinel-2 and Landsat-8 satellite image to identify the anomalies that occur in plants affected by oil injection. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Pak Kurdianto. It's very interesting presentation. So, any other question from audience? It's very interesting. So please give a question. Okay, Ibu Reni, please.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, it's very interesting subject to study. I just have maybe only clarification or give me more information about the hyperspectral sensor that you use in your study. What kind of sensor and I don't know, maybe the resolution or something.
Please, Pak Kurdianto. So could you please answer the question?
Please repeat again.
Oh, sorry. So I would like to know more about the hyperspectral sensor that you use. So what kind of the sensor and also maybe resolution for the sensor? Because you compare the hyperspectral sensor with the plan or...
Okay, please wait. The resolution is wavelength from 350 to 2500 nanometer, and the ISA hyperspectral sensor is 10 millimeter in diameter. The specification is photosynthetical region is 400 until 700 nanometers. Maybe this my specification is material ASD hyperspectral sensor.
Okay, so maybe do you have the photo for the sensor that you use or something?
Yes,
Because I just wondering, usually hyperspectral sensor we use like we put in the UFE or something. So I couldn't imagine.
You mean is the
It's
equipment, the
except
tools?
Yes, Yes.
Okay, what type of the tools of the sensor?
Yes,
It
I
means
set screen. This way.
Yeah.
that I saw that equipment is not would not be put in the aero the plane or UAV, right? This for laboratorium equipment. This is it right, Pak Gurdianto?
You still mute.
Pak Gurdianto? Okay.
Yes. Yes, it's for my lab.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I
So
just wondering because yeah, you mentioned like very detail like for the plan and oil leaks. So if the sensor is like we put in the UFV or something, it's very difficult to measure. So I now understand so you took the photo or something from your desk and then you can do it in every sample that you have, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So it means that you have to make another research that can be apply your output of the research into the field, right, Pak Gurdianto?
Right.
Okay, so it means you can start to correlate it with your research with the satellite data.
Okay.
Or at least UAV, multispectral data, because satellite data it's maybe there is it's too less sorry, less spatial resolution, right? So you mean it mean that you need the high spatial resolution
Okay.
for the satellite data, right?
Right. And the next one will be address the image satellite Sentinel-2 and Landsat 8.
Okay, you already make the research.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can present in another opportunity.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so there is no another question. Still 3 minutes left. No? Okay, so we can move to the next presentation. Thank you, Pak Gurdianto, for your presentation. So that the next presentation is my own presentation. So it means, Bu Rani, could you please take
Okay.
to lead the what is the session? This session.
Yes. Okay,
My
thank you.
presentation is using video, so please committed to play my video. Okay, thank you, Bu Reni.
Okay, thank you, Bu Sasa. So I'm act of the moderator only for this presentation. So the title of the presentation is Multi-Index Satellite Data Investigation for Corn Growth Pattern Identification. And the Bu Rizatul Sofiati will present by the video. So you have same about 10 minutes for the presentation and 10 minutes for discussion. Okay, please the committee
Thank you,
to
Chairman. Good afternoon. This time I will present my paper entitled A Multi-Index Satellite Data Investigation for Corn Growth Pattern Identification, which was written with me, Risatu Sofiati, Muhammad Iqbal Habibi, Muhammad Arda, and Bambang Susanto. The harvested area for shelled corn in 2023 is estimated at 2.49 million hectares, a decrease of 10% compared to the harvested area in 2022. It means that the production is also decreased. For dry shelled corn with a moisture content of 14% in 2023 is estimated at 14.46 million tons. A decrease of 12.50% compared to 2022. This figure is very important and needed by policymakers for monitoring to determine whether there is a surplus or a minus, so imports need to be carried out. It means that corn is one of the important cereal crops in Indonesia. Apart from being a staple food crop to replace rice in an effort to diversify food, corn is also animal feed. Information on the planting area and harvest of corn is needed in real time to plan input needs and estimate corn production and timing. Remote sensing is technology that has the ability to quickly identify vegetation on the Earth's surface. It means that this technology can be useful for this needed. Why we need remote sensing? If we compare data collection that is only carried out in the field compared to the using remote sensing technology, we can see the following table. Using remote sensing technology, we can reduce human resources, less cost, less time, and better data presentation. However, accuracy using remote sensing data need to be improved. This research is to investigate the suitable indices for real-time monitoring of corn growth, ultimately enhancing the efficiency and sustainability of agricultural practices. The study location is in Java Island because Java is 10th province in the largest national corn area in 2023, taken from the result of the KSA survey by BPS. The image data used in this study is Landsat 8 and Sentinel-2, while the indexes studied consist of NDVI, EVI, Wetness Index, NDWI, and NDMI. The bands have been investigated are bands blue, green, red, near-infrared, short-wave infrared 1, and short-wave infrared 2, where these bands are known to be sensitive to vegetation and water conditions in plants and land. Previous research was mostly carried out using Landsat, with a spatial resolution of 30 and a temporal resolution of 16 days. Currently available better imagery, namely Sentinel-2 with a spatial resolution of 10 meters and a temporal resolution of 10 days. The specification of the band required are the same. We know various wavelengths in sunlight are not all used equally in photosynthesis. Instead, photosynthetic organisms contain light-absorbing molecules called pigments that absorb only specific wavelengths of visible light while reflecting others. The set of wavelengths absorbed by a pigment is its absorption spectrum. In the diagram, you can see the absorption spectra of three key pigments in photosynthesis. The set of wavelengths that a pigment doesn't absorb are reflected, and the reflect light is what we see as color. For instance, plants appear green to us because they contain many chlorophyll molecules, which reflect green light. Group of pigments that absorb violet and blue-green light. This theoretical basis is used in the selecting indices in this study. On the research conducted previously by Ministry of Agriculture using Landsat 8 imagery, the indicators are AVA and witness. The result of the time series analysis of the Landsat 8 data, a spectral pattern is obtained as shown in graph. Calculation of one growing season of corn using image data acquisition at a period that does not match the age of the corn plant in 105 days because Landsat 8 image acquisition is every 16 days. So the number of days used is 112 days. Based on the graph of the EVA value, the graph continues to increase until after reaching the peak in slowly decrease. This initial value is an indication that during the early growth period, the corn plant has a low EVA value, as well as shown that the corn plant does not yet have a significant growth rate, indicated by the absence of significant leaf shoots, meaning that the green level of the plant itself is still very low. The peak of the highest EVA value indicates that at that time the corn plant has a maximum level of ground development, where the number of leaves from the corn plant is already large and is accompanied by a maximum level of greenness of the leaves. This maximum green level supports the maximum photosynthesis process as well. The absorption of red wave is also low and reflect high near-infrared wave. Therefore, resulting of high EVA value, the graph of the EVA value shows the growth process of corn from the beginning of planting to the end of the planting period. The decrease in EVA value after reaching the peak is the maturity period of corn plant. It is indicated by the color of the leaf that have started to brown and the corn are getting ready to be harvested. Graph shown in DWI value in paddy field is higher than NDVI value in dry land. This indicates that level of wetness of corn in paddy field is higher than in dry land. One of the contribution factor is rice field have more irrigation than dry land. Besides that, function of corn field is that they are more often used as rice field, where adequate and regular irrigation is needed for rice plants. Higher NDW value closer to 1, the higher the level of wetness and vice versa. From here, it can be distinguished later between which corn objects are in paddy field and dry land, namely by looking at NDW value. Different from the wetness index, NDWI and DMI graph derived from Landsat 8 data shows a similar pattern with NDVI and EVI in corn plant growth, where bare soil has low values, increases during the vegetative stage and peaks at the generative stage around 85 days after planting. The similarity in pattern between NDVI and DWI can be explained by close relationship between plant growth, chlorophyll content, and water availability. The increased input indices during the vegetative and generative phase reflects optimum condition for corn plant growth. The patterns shown by NDWI and NDMI are more rational compared to the wetness index. The wetness index is often used in Landsat and similar image analysis, but it is more related to surface moisture. In some cases, especially in mountainous environment or areas with significant topographical variation, the wetness index can reflect both moisture and drainage, which can influence plant growth. We use NDWI and NDMI because they will be applied to Sentinel-2. The same pattern is obtained for all 4 indices from Sentinel-2. We conclude that the combination of vegetation indices NDVI, EVI with water indices NDWI and NDMI has the potential to be used in identifying corn plants. The similarity in pattern between vegetation indices and water indices can be explained by the close relationship between corn plant growth, chlorophyll content, and water availability. The main emphasis of a monitoring plan or soil monitor NDVI and NDMI can provide more specific and relevant information. However, if land characteristics are also considered, the wetness index can provide useful additional information. We extend our sincere gratitude to the Aeronautic and Space Research Organization of BRIN for generously furnishing satellite data, and we would also like to express our appreciation to the Ministry of Agriculture for their invaluable contribution of field data. Thank you for your kind attention.
Baik, terima kasih. Ya, risetnya sangat menarik, Bu Sasa. Biasanya kan kita melihatnya di padi ya, sekarang sudah
In
mulai
English,
jagung.
please.
In English, please.
Sorry. Sorry. Yeah, so it's very interesting subject to study. So usually we have this kind of research in paddy field because it's one of the in Indonesia, but now it's become for corn, and I think it will be next source of our farmer. So I will like to open the question from the audience. You can raise hand or you can open your mic. Sorry, it's like discussion. So is there any question or comment?
So please give any comment and suggestion to me because I have to extend my okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, Dr. Hira Makbul.
Hi, how are you? So just it's a very interesting topic that you have chosen for your research. So my question is, you are applying just for one crop, or you have like intention of extending it to other areas or other crops as well? Have you got my question?
So only one.
Okay, so I can answer the question.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Pak. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Ibu Reni and Dr. Hira. So actually, my research is before I focused to rice, but now I would like to extend my research into maize, maybe, and also actually I have another research in soybean, sugarcane, but we have to make time series data, Dr. Hira, because if not, so it will be get the misinterpretation of all of the analysis, because maybe in one time paddy and also maize and also sugarcane have the same characteristic or same results for the spectra. So it means that we have to make some time series data, at least one planting time. It's around 4 months. Okay, you can get my the answer is okay for you?
Yes, that's okay. Okay, so you have intention of extending it to others, different types as well, like
Yes,
different
but
types.
in time I use only one plant. It's maize.
Oh, okay.
But
So
next
that's
time I
good.
can have to combine maybe two or three kind of the plant.
Okay.
Okay,
So
thank you for
that
your.
would be very interesting to look at. So yeah. Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So maybe we can see in the next year eggers, Bu Sasa. for the comparison between others.
Yes. Yes, maybe we have to investigate another indices. Not only that for indices, but maybe we have to make another investigate another indices because there's many indices we have. So it means which one we have to check or to select or get which one the best indices that can be used to identify the maize, because maize is also very difficult, not like rice, because everybody everybody make research about rice because it's the characteristic is easier than another plant like corn, sugarcane, and others. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. So is there any other question or comments? We still have 5 minutes, so 2 more questions, I think, or comments can be. Or maybe from okay. So if not, I have a very small question actually. So yeah, during this investigation or during your research, did you have what kind of problem, or maybe I don't know, so because you do the research in the original field, so I think it will be many difficulties or many challenging. So what kind that you found in this study?
Thank you, Ibu Reni. Actually, the problem is same with others researcher. If we use the optical data, so the problem is about the cloud cover. So when we actually I take sampling based on the field data the day when we go to field, and we don't know what the condition of the imagery, right? And when we get the data in that field in the same day, in the same date, for the acquisition of the imagery, so we found the imagery is full of the cloud. So if I get that problem, so I move to another, and with the estimation for the next stage. If that state maybe, and when we go to fit the state of the maize is vegetative, maybe we have to know the what is the age of the plant, and then we used another switch to another acquisition date. So it means we can estimate what the age of the plant of the maize. That's my solution. If we find or what is face that the problem.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and give applause also to this presentation. So is there any question or comments? If not, so I will give back the moderator to Ibu Sasa. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Ibu Reni. So I know I take over to lead the session. So the next presenter is Miss or Mr. Miss Casey Setyaningsih. The entitled of the presentation is Redefining Rescue UAVs and Advanced Algorithm for Life Sign Detection Post-Disaster. Okay, Miss Casey, you have a 10-minute presentation. So Miss Casey is attend this
Sorry, Mom.
this session.
Sorry, Mom. I think I'm gonna take this section for the title.
Okay, must we go? You will presentation. You will make presentation for Miss Casey. Okay, so please you can start your presentation. You will directly present your slide. So your slide or use a video?
I'm gonna use the slide.
Okay. Okay, so please, your presentation is 10 minutes.
All right. Thanks for the opportunity and the time. I think I'm gonna share the screen. Have you guys ready? You can see. Hello, Miss. Oh, mom. You can see the screen.
Yes, I can see your presentation.
All right, thanks for the opportunity and the time. All right, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everybody, presenter and the participant. I'm Vigo Plambudi, and with the team, Ceci Ningsi and Meta Alista, gonna present the title with redefining rescue UAV and advanced algorithm for life sign detection post disaster. So, my present gonna talk about four part here. The first one is introduction. The second one is design and realization. The third is parameter analysis. And the last is the conclusion from the research. The first one is part of the introduction is background. As we know, in this year or maybe in this world, there are so many natural victims, natural disaster happens. So from the natural disaster, there are so many victims. And from that, we can see the first one is natural disaster often occur unexpectedly, and disaster location are usually difficult to reach to monitor the victims. The second is in rescue evacuation, the use of drone is needed to monitor the victims. And the third is object detection is one of the use in the detection victims using the drone. After that, the problem from the background is the first, how to help the work of the nature disaster rescue team in detecting supervisor of natural disaster. The second is how to help the work of the natural disaster rescue team in seeing sign of life in victims of natural disaster. From the problem, we can see the research objective. The first one is designing a human detection system using a model with the best accuracy on the YOLO V5 or YOLO version 5. The second one is designing the detection of sign of life using the MoveNet. Here I'm gonna use the MoveNet Thunder because there are two MoveNet. The first one is MoveNet Lightning and MoveNet. The second one is MoveNet Thunder. Involving ROI or region of interest and reading movement using motion detection. Scope of research, the first one is detection is focused on detecting victims of natural disaster are human and single object, or maybe the second is the disease victim is represented using a mannequin research as a human. The third is research focus on detecting human and chest or back movement. The object research being tested must be visible at the point of the shoulder, at the point of the hip, in order to build the ROI. This study does not have a specific disaster to detect victims of natural disaster. Next is the part of the YOLO version 5. We can see on the right side is architecture of this one is architecture of the YOLO V5, and the right one is comparison of YOLO version 3, version 4, and version 5. And the left side is how I'm gonna use this YOLO V5 to check my research from the start and then pre-processing the dataset into the end, the progress of the research. The next is about the MoveNet. Actually, MoveNet has two parts. The first one is MoveNet Lightning, has faster than MoveNet Thunder, but not so correctly for the detection. The second one is MoveNet Thunder has bigger data and more flowy than the MoveNet Lightning, but there are more correctly to detecting the skeleton. Maybe the part of this MoveNet is in the left side is comparison of OpenPost, PostNet, and MoveNet. In the lower is about the architecture of the MoveNet. In the right side is about the key detection from the MoveNet. Next, about the MoveNet. This is the key of to detecting the skeleton of the MoveNet. Is 17 key from the north point 0 into the number 17. It's live here. How to use it is gonna be 1 into 2, 2 into 3, 3 into 4 to detecting the skeleton of the human. The next one is region of interest. What is ROI or region of interest? A region of interest is part of the image selected for processing. ROI has a function to mark an object that is moving. The object detection algorithm is carried out by placing the ROI area on the board road area traversed by vehicle. For the simply of the ROI is explained by this bounding box, by the green bounding box. This is the ROI. There's gonna be detect if the cheese is there have a movement or not. The next is about the system requirement. We use the Python, Keras, OpenCV, and TensorFlow. The system goals about this research is the first one, ability to detect humans using YOLO and test the result of human detection. The second one is ability to detect movement of this area using motion detection to distinguish mannequin and humans. To detect the humans are dead or alive. This is the system overview about this research. The first one is the recording video about the victims. After that, we make into the human detection using YOLO V5, and this is the output. We got this output. It's human or not. After we detect the human, and then we building the ROI based on the skeleton movement thunder. This is this. We can create the skeleton just like in here. There are 17 skeleton. After that, we create a ROI in this bounding box area of the cheese. After that, pixel change detection on ROI based on F's value. Gonna is for detect human alive or dead. After that, we can see if the cheese are there's some movement, so it's gonna be saved by alive because they are in the cheese is movement. This is the human detection pre-processing. The first one is start the system and then looking for dataset. I take the dataset from the Google and I add my own dataset. And then I create the pre-processing dataset. The first pre-processing dataset is start from, I use the RoboFlow. This is the dataset and I create the where's the human, where is not the human. And then the second is train and test split from the RoboFlow. And then make a augmentation. This is much augmentation you can add into your dataset, and then after that you can generate or you get the link. After get the link, the pre-processing dataset is finished, and then we go into the training dataset. I use training dataset in Google Colab. Training datasets has different parameter. I gonna explain it later on the next slide. After that, training finished, and then after the training finished, we got the models from the YOLO V5. We can use for the human detection. After that, to finish for the human detection preprocessing. And the next slide is to scenario of training dataset. I use that scenario of training dataset in the Google Colab. I use 3 scenario. The first one is parameter with 2 batch and approach 5. I got the accuracy is 63% for YOLO detection. And then the last is 90% and 10%, which batch 10 approach 200. With the accuracy is more better, it's 80%. There are so many results from this scenario.
Must we go 1 minute more
All right.
left?
All right.
Okay, you can
All right,
make the mode. Yes, faster.
Thanks for the reminder. And the next is detection of the object of or his movement. The first one is you start, and then human detection. After you the human is detected, you can create the skeleton point of just like what I say before. And then the last one is if the result is alive or not. This is the mannequin test result because mannequin is that don't have movement for their cheese. because they are not breathing. So the result is died. Then the next object is human, because human are have breathing, so they are alive. Same like this. The second person, the third person. This is hand detection. So this is the demo maybe. We can see here the mannequin are dead because they are not breathing in the ROI detected. And next, maybe here are the person, because person are breathing, so they are conclusion are alive. Next. So the conclusion from this research is making a model that has been trained with the various parameter, just like what I explained before, as the base model with dataset. Partition the training data, the data validation is 90 to 10 with confusion metric percent 18 to 20 or 100% accuracy. Why is 100% accuracy? Because when we detect the person should be alive, they are alive. When we detect the mannequin, they are should be dead and they are dead. That's the why the accuracy is 100%. Implement the system with average confidence values is 90 into 75%. For the result of detection, sign of life using the standard, and for the text object using 13 human objects and 1 mannequin object. There are the conclusion, maybe this conference reference, and maybe there are the presentation. Thanks for the time and the opportunity. Maybe have to ask and maybe to comment. Thanks. I back to the moderator, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Mas Vigo. It's very interesting presentation and the topic of the research. So is there any question for the audience, from the audience? No? No question? Okay, I have one question. The rescue, it is for the purpose is for the rescue the victim, right? Okay, it's the disaster is in a mountain or maybe building.
The disaster. The disaster is the earthquake.
Earthquake. It means the person is maybe can be buried under building.
Yes.
Yes, and also maybe can be like landslide.
Yes.
Possible. So it means that maybe the person, the victim, will be not on above ground, right? Maybe the victim will be buried under soil, with soil or what? Or rubble, in rubble.
All right, thanks for
Oh, if like that, because I saw your research saw the body, a whole body. If one what is maybe whole body will buried in the rubber or rubble, and or part of the body buried. So how to detect the victim using your model?
All right, thanks for the question, ma'am. That's a good question. Maybe this picture gonna explain the. I hope this can explain the question from the ma'am Rijatus Sofiati. This is I use the scenario of the earthquake is the body or the cheek is maybe have some to close the body, because my system is detecting the cheek area. What the meaning is, when the leg are closed by any object, it's not a problem. But how is when the keys are closed by any object like this? There are still can detect even it's more close like this. Other maybe this can still detection. And how if really can close by any object that really cannot detect the cheese, maybe we can see the movement for any different body, like hand, maybe if there are still movement. So we can conclude when the person have the movement. So we can conclude for the motion detection are so big, and we can conclude there are life. Maybe can answer the question, ma'am.
Okay, maybe somebody covered by rubber, maybe they still live, right? That's possible. Maybe that's there is any possibility. So do you have any plan to make research that can detect like use thermal band or other that can detect what is the life or somebody
Yes.
under maybe under when they buried by soil or other.
Right. Yes. Maybe the next research is using the sensor and radar, maybe because this
Okay, thermal
system.
maybe you can use.
Yes, also thermal can also, because this system, the research of this system is only use the image processing, not using the sensor, radar, or maybe thermal. Maybe the next goals for this system can add thermal sensor and any opportunity.
Okay, thank you. Nice presentation. So, any other question? Bu Reni, okay. Please, Bu Reni.
Yeah, thank you. Just following up question from Bu Sasa. So I just wondering, this is you use the image processing. It's mean you took a photo from the satellite to be the input of your model, or you use others input?
It's actually using UAV or maybe drones. And then the drones, the first study from this research is actually gonna be live streaming. That means we use the controlled drones and we include the system into the drone. So when we detect using drones, the camera drones, we can see there are the person, maybe there are human from the natural disaster or not. And then after we detect the human, we can see where the human are alive, and that's why we should see the human who is alive, who is or not alive. So when we see the person that are still alive, so we need to first to escape the person that lied to. And but the difficult from that, I don't have when I see there are so much drone in Indonesia, there are no compatible the drones into my system, so I cannot live streaming with the drone. So it's just a recorded video or maybe just a photo from the natural disaster, and then I make in the record video into my system. Maybe like that. Yes, Ma'am Marina.
Okay, thank you very much. So it's mean when the natural disaster occurs, you flying the UAV and you took a photo and then you analyze using your model. Is that correct?
Yes, maybe the simple like that, but
Okay.
maybe more just like the not just a photo, but maybe just I can also the video.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you, Bu Reni. So, any other question? I saw Pak Agustan, Pak Sumargana also attend this session. So, do you have any question, Pak Agustan?
No, madam. So all clear. Thank you very much for your presentation. It's very good.
Thank you.
Okay, Pak Sumargana. Okay, so if there is no any question, so we can do the next presenter. So, okay, thank you, Mas Wigo. Nice presentation, and it's very useful to help people, the victim of the disaster.
All right.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks. I'm gonna close the share screen. Thanks for the time and the opportunity. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. So the last presentation is Miss Bogeswara Patakamudi. Sorry if I cannot spell your name well. So your title is an approach to avoid triple S problem in the data space using V-surface, PCA plus LDA techniques, a case study on chest X-ray phenomena data. So you have same with another presenter. You have 10-minute presentation. So please, Miss or Mr. Bagaswara, Bogeswara, you have attend this session? Committee, could you check Miss Bogaswara attend this session or not? Maybe representative? No? I cannot find the name in the list of the participant. Okay, so I have remind the participant, could you please fill the fill the register attendance. So don't forget to fill that link. The link already shared in the chat room. So the committee, if the last presentation not attend, so we can end the session. Who is the committee of this session? No? The presenter is not attend? So okay, maybe Burani, do you have any suggestion?
Yeah, if there is the presenter not attend in the session, so usually until 3 times we call it, and if not, it's mean there is zero score for him, and you can end the session, but before that we can take a photo session.
Okay, thank you. And don't forget to fill the registration attendance form that will be shared in the chat room. Okay, so who will take a picture? Granny. Okay.
Yeah, so please open all the camera. We will have a group photo. Okay. Okay, so I will count to 3 and please give a big smile for this session. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, once more. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Bu Reni. So now I can end the session. Okay, thank you very much for all audience and for your attend. And good afternoon. So we can move to parallel session or no?
Yeah, can come back to the
Okay.
main room, and we still
Yeah,
have
you can
our
also
questions.
attend to the another room, right? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
ma'am. Goodbye.
Thank you.
See you next
Thank
time.
you, Bu Risatu Sofiati. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Agustan. Izin live ya.